we're alive?
Are we alive?
No.
I think we're alive.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're live!
So, how you doing?
Oh, you sound like full of energy.
Oh, I've been better, but I've also been worse. So
I think that's
Describes life in general.
what you thought. So what's going on today? What are you feeling?
What am I feeling? Feeling a couple feelings. Tried to write a little bit today. I've been trying to get episodes up today.
Excellent.
I've been doing some stuff.
YouTube?
YouTube, Anchor.
Okay, YouTube was your chance to go. No, I'm putting stuff up on. Yes, exactly. Well, Anchor and Spotify. Anchor won't mean much to people.
I actually don't know where, they're posting them because they won't let me click on the link. Or I don't know if any of these are posted on Spotify.
Well, I don't think it's instantaneous. I think it has to be processed and go up, so you can't put it up, go on, put it up, go on.
Right,
like
I got you.
I don't, maybe.
But I don't know how. I don't know. I feel like they should have gave me an ETA or something.
I know that I got an alert from Google saying that the podcast is up.
Yeah.
It didn't have any links to click on.
Yeah.
But they were working on that. That you were working on actually uploading audio as opposed to audio and video.
Getting some stuff up.
But I mean, that's a big thing because some of the stuff upcoming that we're doing is strictly audio. One of the combinations of the things we're doing is, I think we both have always seen this as a very multimedia concept. It flows in and out of different mediums. For me, even when I was writing my book, there were a lot of it was about art.
Right.
That even then, I've always felt kind of a connection to the idea of I can't necessarily describe things just with words, because words just kind of define things in a way that binds them.
Okay.
There's too much. I can tell when I start talking like that. Well, I find that the words are defining me, and no words are real. Words are simply a concept.
Or a construct.
Yep, they are. They are.
The man.
If you didn't know it was called a rose, would it smell any different?
No, I don't think so.
Stolen straight from Shakespeare, but reworded it. But anyways,
Is it? Is that stolen?
would a rose by any other name be not so sweet? And it's Romeo and Juliet. I think that's Romeo and Juliet. I think he's referring to Juliet.
Yeah, Juliet's pretty. I mean, Romeo's pretty sappy.
They're both really sappy. They kill themselves in the end over love.
Over each other, yeah.
Really?
I'd have been like, ah, dang, she's gone. Alright.
No, Ross would have been
Go
like,
to the
he would
pub.
have been like, hey,
Let's go to
realize
the
she's
pub.
dead. Then he goes, I was just wondering. I know that we weren't getting along, but does Juliet have any sisters?
That would be Ross's move, like,
I'm going to the funeral.
I'm going to the funeral.
I'm telling you,
That's the way to go.
I've seen what the genes in that family can do. Let's get them all in one place and pick a number.
Does she have a cousin?
Does she have a cousin?
You know?
I think she did, but you almost killed Romeo.
Yeah. Mercutio? Right.
One of
No,
them.
Mercutio was Romeo's cousin.
Okay.
I don't.
Romulus?
Star Trek?
No, that's Romulans.
Oh, Romulans. Okay.
Yes, it was the Romulans that got...
Romeo.
I remember when Shakespeare used to write about the Romulans.
and the Klingons.
And the Klingons.
Yeah.
That was a bathroom thing.
I think my favorite Star Trek race is the Ferengi.
The Ferengi. That tells a lot about your age.
Money, you know?
But that tells a lot about your
What
age.
do you mean?
That's not original Star Trek.
Yeah, I know that's not original.
No, I didn't mean it as it wasn't
Yeah.
judgment. It was meant like, oh wow, I don't immediately. My favorite
I'm
alien
definitely
race.
different red.
Tribbles.
I mean, God's people are kind of nice.
Vulcans?
Yeah. Vulcans are kind of cool.
A lot of ego there, man.
A
A lot of ego. A lot of high and mightiness. Yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah,
impressive by
they're pretty
themselves.
elitist. Yeah.
I have a real.
Only reason
I
Spot's
love-
not like that
I
is
love.
because the human.
Well, no, he is too, though. He's pretty. That's why.
Well, I'm saying
That's why
he's
he
less
loves
than
it.
he's
He
less
loves
than
it
the
as
rest
like-
of the.
And you're a doctor?
Yes, I'm a doctor.
Yes, Jim! I'm a doctor!
Or I'm just a doctor, or
I'm not a miracle worker!
if you want miracles, ask Scotty. Scotty has miracles.
Yeah.
So, sir, what is the topic of the day?
Tittynope.
Tittynope.
Yep.
You look like you never said nope to titty. Why is Tittynope? What's that mean?
It's when you gather all the leftovers. And what do you do?
Small gathering of
A small gathering.
Just means a small gathering of leftovers.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the Friday show. Our Friday show is what we like to do at the end of the week is get together a nice little titty note for you, so that you can kind of enjoy a small gathering of the leftovers from the week. Okay. So why don't you give the backstory of how we ended up with Tittynope?
Okay. We were watching a movie or a show.
You were a decent host. We were watching a show.
Okay. We watched
The show was Murderville.
Show was Murderville.
Conan O'Brien was on it.
Yes.
Tittynope.
They started talking about Tittynope.
There was something magic going on.
The safe word was Tittynope.
The safe word for what?
So Conan was going undercover, and the safe word for pulling him out was Tittynope. So he was like, "What is a Tittynope?" Well, all of us, we were both like, "What is a Tittynope?"
What is that?
So we looked it up. It's a small gathering of leftovers. That's literally
It really is what it is. And that's the definition
what he,
given on the show.
that's what he gave. That's what he said. Yeah.
Shouts out to
BoJack Horseman.
Will Arnett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are a sucker for Will Arnett.
Will Arnett's pretty fun.
Call me Tina Fey. Eventually you'll learn, though, he might let you down, I guess, based on Tina Fey as well. But, Tina Fey was married to Will Arnett.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
digress, folks. Yeah, we know that. Thanks, man. Yeah, Will Arnett and Tina Fey. That's really important to the show. I appreciate you putting that in, man. This show would not have been complete if you hadn't made a Tina Fey reference.
Yeah.
Or a BoJack Horseman reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Sounded like we were doing a little bit of.
There was some
Willie
Beatles.
Nelson.
I don't know.
It was really
No,
interesting.
Willie.
Not Willie. There's another. So there was two people in How High that I remember seeing. Maybe it was Jimmy Chong. Maybe it was him.
You are so all over the place.
I don't know. It was a voice that reminded me of.
So Tittynope,
Titty.
as we were actually explaining, I haven't done anything to him today. None of this is my doing. I want everybody to know this.
I'm high on life,
That no, it hit me immediately. So okay, we're huge fans of Will Arnett, and Will Arnett has a show out called Murderville,
Yes.
which is kind of based on our show. I'll be honest, he stole the idea from me. The whole concept of the show is I have a script and he doesn't, and hopefully by the end he can figure out the answer.
Accurate.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't.
You get to play Conan O'Brien.
Not all.
No. See, you should. The joy. My point is, though, that obviously the idea for the show was stolen from this show that we started after that show came out, even though I really was not aware of it at all at that point as far as being part of the docket. I'm just connecting them in weird ways that absolutely have nothing to do with each other.
Yes.
But the idea being that so we were talking about how do we label our podcast. And so kind of Ross never knows what the topic's going to be.
I don't ever.
And some days he'll know the word, like he knew yesterday Tittynope was the topic.
I think I consciously tried to forget it.
But it also, I didn't give him any idea where we were going to go with Tittynope.
Yeah.
Whether it was the safe word to get us out of the show, like he should go Tittynope, 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 like Conan was. But the concept behind the show is it's a mystery show.
Yes.
One person
Has a script.
Everybody has a
Everyone
script.
except for the celebrity guest has a script.
We decided it had to be more of an outline.
Yeah, it's more. It seems like it's more of an outline. There's a lot more of an improv thing going on, where like, okay, you probably got to do this somewhere in the scene.
Right, there's some point you have to establish whatever the reasons are this person is guilty or innocent.
Right, but it seemed like the dialogue is like mostly.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch! Oh my God! I never would have. I did not. I had seen Marshawn on stuff before, and he's always been kind of got that. He's very.
I want
outgoing.
a detective thing that says Detective Bagovich.
Detective Bagovich.
I need Detective Bagovich to be a thing.
Marshawn Lynch's first question on his episode
Was
can I change my name to Detective Bagovich?
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
but I was so disappointed there were not callbacks all through that episode.
Man, they had so much opportunity.
They should have totally taken Bagovich as his name to surprise everybody else that in theory already knew what was coming.
Right.
That would have been the funniest part. Because then what I would have done is everybody else that had a script wouldn't know that now he was Detective Bagovich.
Right.
Will Arnett call me. I could make the show even better, even though I think it's already great.
I think it's a great show.
No,
It's a great
so
show.
Tittynope.
Tittynope.
That at the end of your day, always get together a nice Tittynope to kind of hold yourself over till the next day. A gathering of the leftovers, like the things that, oh wow, that was a good thing. To bring together those thoughts that you would be grateful for, you know, so that, because I mean, everybody knows, everybody's always grateful for a nice Tittynope. I mean, it's, you know, a small gathering of leftovers. When have you not, like, oh, yeah, you ate a ton at the holidays, but then you wake up in the middle of the night, and you're like, oh, I just need a Tittynope.
Well, the thing is, I prefer when there's like a fridge of leftovers.
Well, no, but my point is what you're making on your plate is a Tittynope.
Yeah.
You're right, what's in there is a large gathering of leftovers. You are making a... Excuse me, darling, could you put together a nice Tittynope for me?
I have a love-hate relationship with the word.
There's something a little moist about it.
Don't say moist.
What's the other? There's another one that people don't like. Moist, Tittynope. Oh no, we can't say the other one. Never mind. There's one that people of color are not as comfortable with as far as names for genitalia, and we're not going to go there. No matter how many times the rooster crows, I will not discuss it. Quote the rooster, nevermore.
Never more of that word.
Nevermore.
Never.
Well, no, that was a discovery, though.
Yeah.
Speaking of a small gathering of leftovers, I had never realized that there are very different ethnic... Okay, I've noticed it some, because I had a daughter, and everybody had
a different word for it.
And it's true of it's guys too, but all the way up to being an adult.
Yeah.
There's an ethnic relationship to genitalia.
Every time, like someone's ever like said that word, and they were like, that I remember.
So
every
like,
time that someone said that word at school,
like somebody like Foghorn Leghorn.
no, every time someone said that word at school, I remember everyone looking at them like, dude, why did you say that? That was weird.
But the word, I am amazed by how well we are avoiding this. I think this is one of the finest conversations on genitalia ever had in the world. Fine genitalia conversations, I say. A Tittynope, if you will, of genitalia. Well, but I found it really interesting, though, that there was like a real attachment to the words. Everybody agrees moist is bad.
Yeah, moist is horrifying.
I've never I like a moist cake.
I don't know. There's something about the word that just doesn't sit well with me at all.
Well, so could you assemble a Tittynope of those words? A small gathering of the leftover words.
Instead of the 7 cuss words, you should do the 7.
The 7 words that sound like they're bad.
7 words that sound like they're bad.
Right?
Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah.
I have a bunch in my head, but I'm like, Tittynope's enough for today, man.
Yeah.
Tittynope's
I
enough.
have a phrase in my head, but I don't know if I can say it.
Let's not.
I don't know.
Everybody out there think about that for the weekend. Think about all those words you... Man, they just sound bad when you say them, but they're not. You know.
I'll maybe put one in the comments, but I won't.
I think that's what the roosters sit around and talk about.
Where the roosters sit around and talk about.
Words that just sound bad, but in their minds aren't. But the point is, whether it's at the end of the week or at the end of the day, kind of bringing together the good stuff.
Yeah.
There's a crapload, there's a ton of weird, bad stuff this week. There's stuff going on in the world.
Yeah. Some heavy stuff.
And I don't think it's rational to just ignore. I think you have to define what you can do. I'm not saying any of that. I think there's something to be said for, if we want there to be changes in the world, we have to
change.
Q tagline. We have to make noise
Oh, that.
and be heard.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The whole basis behind this, so I'm going to talk about the good parts about how that relates and not go into why I feel so strongly about it this week. That I think a large portion of what we are trying to do is connect people. Connect people with the fact that what who we are is just normal and so are they. Connect people with the idea that everybody's just around the corner. You have to accept the rest of the people as people. And part of that is, we're starting out on putting together a show that's about self-care and mental health. And part of that starts with when you accept your own humanity and are compassionate to yourself. It's hard to not feel that towards others. If you're beating yourself up every day because life is just miserable and nothing is being compassionate to you, you don't value your own life. That's why you don't value other lives.
Yeah.
If you are at the point where the world is holding you down and has its foot on your neck, Dario reference as opposed to, but that you think that's all there is. Our goal is to go, no, there's something more. That the reality is we let down some of our barriers. What we realize is we're the same. No, all of us are different. That's kind of the cool thing. What makes us the same is that we're all different, but we all experience this struggle or suffering or whatever you want to call it. Life is hard. We don't need to judge other people's life as hard. Don't compare. Just start to see each other as having that same right to exist. And for me, I guess it's like I need everybody in the world to put up their bat signal. But that's kind of how I'll be honest, that's how I see it though. For me, it's like, what choice do I have but point my spotlight at the sky in the hopes that other people will see it and more spotlights will turn on. So that eventually the whole world is lit up by people going, yeah, nah, I'm out. My titty said no. That's not a proper use of that.
You can't separate them.
You can't separate them.
You can't.
You can't.
No.
If you separate them, totally different.
Totally different meaning.
But I think that's true of the entire world. If you separate it, it has a totally different meaning.
That was deep.
Brought together, we are an amazing gathering of leftovers. A veritable cornucopia.
Cornucopia?
A veritable cornucopia of variety.
Right?
Think of the wisdom we lose every time somebody dies. I can't see the world like that person. Think of the insight lost by every person who never gets an education. You know, think of if you spend every moment thinking only of hate, what else are you getting done? What else do you have time for? If you
I think you can be hateful and still get things done. That's
hateful things.
yeah.
That's why but when you're entire, but that becomes your impetus. That's what's pushing you along.
Yeah.
And I'm going, wait a minute.
I don't think it's sustainable. You know, I think it's to
I'll
be
build
vengeful.
more
is a
resentment, more resentment, and
To be vengeful is a very tiring task.
I've always loved the, I don't know if it's Buddhist or it's just fun shit that Lincoln said at some point or something. On the theory that memes are memes. But vengeance is a poison drank with the hopes of poisoning somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is you've created that much space
Yeah.
in your head. They may not have. You can. The funniest thing is oftentimes you're sure people had great malicious intent. You put all of your effort into figuring out how to get back at him. You were projecting. That person didn't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're the only person who's wasted all this time and energy.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, it may then domino and the other person now, whatever. But the reality is, oftentimes, your obsession isn't real.
We're chasing after something that you built up in your head.
Well, right, it's your perspective. So that it's, when you like, oh, this person over there thinks this.
Right.
Did you ask them? Did they say that?
Right. Right.
Oh,
Right.
on top of it all, they said the opposite, but you've decided they must have been lying to you?
Right.
You may be investing way too much energy into this. Like, people will go, gosh, but so-and-so lies to you, or this person doesn't always tell you the truth, or, well, you can't count on that person. And I go, I know that. Done.
Right.
No, not in the sense done with the person. But yes, okay. I don't carry it around with me. That sounds like one of their problems, not one of mine.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, it's not always easy. There are moments where people are in your face. You know, I look out at the world and I go, I try to see what is honest and what is dishonest or whatever combination of things you think of. And I assume the pieces that don't fit that are from other people are because there's a trauma that causes them to see it that way.
I think that figuring out that someone doesn't need to be in your life anymore is a difficult thing to actually ponder over. Just because of the fact that, like, you have to realize, okay, this person has shown me who they are, or at least very much attempted to show me who they are, and I haven't been paying attention. So now, what I need to do is, I probably need to get away from this person and analyze the relationship that we had and try and figure out what leftovers can I gather from this relationship? What things can I learn from this relationship?
Oh, absolutely.
What can I take into a new relationship that's gonna
Gather your Tittynope at the end, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Gather the quality.
Yeah.
That's actually my argument for how you're supposed to deal with breakups.
Even if someone did you dirty.
Well,
Like
the list you make at the end,
yeah.
as you're decided you need to break up with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even need to be a list of pros and cons.
Right.
You've already decided you need to break up. Just list the pros. Just put together that Tittynope of the things that you value, that assembly of reasons why this person is valuable
And
to
then
you.
look for that in other people.
Well, no.
I would-
One step further, when you handle the breakup,
Right.
this is what you keep in mind.
Right.
So that with the kindness way and the compassion, you go, I want you to know all of these things I love about you.
Mm-hmm.
I know that as much as we want this to work, I feel like it's not, that we're going in different directions, but that doesn't mean I value you less.
Right.
And they're going to maybe scream at you that they do, but
Right.
whatever, but trying to make Tittynopes a part of your life.
How do I end up with these sentences?
I'm saying.
I love this language. Part of it is, it's my mom's fault. It is so my mom was explaining how she didn't speak as well anymore, and blah, blah, blah. She's nowhere near as loquacious as she once was.
Loquacious?
I said mom.
What's loquacious?
Full of, it just flows out of her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A natural.
Like vivacious.
But it's about speaking in words.
Okay.
I pointed out to her that I thought she was full of crap and more than capable of still holding her own based on the fact she had just subtly, with no need, fit loquacious into the sentence. But I love that. So when I come across a word like Tittynope, which A, has a chuckle to it, you know, I mean, it's if you list off the planets, everybody laughs when you get to Uranus. Well, Tittynope. Same thing. It's only funny because the first part sounds like titty. I'm assuming, for some reason, I'm sure it's from the Netherlands. That sounds so... Did you check? What was the source on it?
I have no clue.
But what if you make the Tittynope habit?
The Tittynope habit.
Every day you need a nice Tittynope. A gathering of the leftovers. A bringing together of the meaning. That there were highs and there were lows. What lessons did I get today?
Right.
If I get to the end of the relationship, I go, what I need is a nice Tittynope. I need to bring together the good things. If I get to the end of a job, if I get, so when I left my last profession, people were stunned that I was not screaming at people, or that I wasn't, that when it came up, don't get me wrong, when it came up that they had basically abandoned me. And I don't mean it, I didn't, the only way I brought it up was thanking them that I knew it was time I needed to move on. That I appreciated that, you know what, the reality was, yeah, no, we had known this was coming. Thank you. Oh my God, the look on his face was worth every minute of it. My former employer, as I'm looking at him going, no, I really appreciate it, I think I'm better off not being here. I think that was not, did I send them a text message where I expressed that the way they had handled things meant that there was no support for me for my mental health? Yep, that was all I ever said. Just one. I just, so that in future reference, if they thought that was how that worked out, this was actually how it worked, so they would know. Wouldn't do it to somebody else. I gathered my Tittynope at the end. I had seen not a million, I'm exaggerating, a lot of cities east of the Mississippi. I'd even gone west of the Mississippi some. I'd spent some time in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and, gotten all the way out to the Dakotas. Flew out to Phoenix to do some work. I'd had some amazing, I met amazing
So
people.
you've been west a little bit.
Well, but what I did was, over and over again, I met amazing people that everybody else probably wouldn't have seen. And over again, I found meaning in being able to talk to those people, and maybe even being able to show them that maybe there was a little hope, that I have made some huge mistakes and that a lot of those people had too. I realized that I had been accosted regularly by a person firm in his Christian beliefs that it was right to not respect other people. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a Christian view. But, you know what? It sharpened my thoughts that I thank him. I'm very appreciative of him. Because every time he wanted, he would come at me one way and I would bring him the Sermon on the Mount, or I would discuss my belief in us all being brothers based on the teachings of who we follow.
Why do you think that people don't get saved?
Well, in this particular case, so I worked with Labor Ready, which is a cash, same-day job. So a lot of the people had, because they didn't do the kind of background checks, had backgrounds, had addictions. The need for cash at the end of the day often goes hand in hand with the need for a fix. If I had, so it was, they weren't dressed to the nines. We were in office buildings. They were the people don't notice. Right. They're the people that wait outside a labor place first thing in the morning in the hopes that they're going to have a job for the day. And not all of them are there because of the reasons I listed.
Right.
Many of them are there because of those reasons and the fact they're trying to survive.
Right.
And the fact that there are children at home. And the fact that, or some of them are just those things. Or I knew a guy that was a store manager at Walmart, but you know what? He preferred it over being home. So on days that he felt like he wanted to go do something, he enjoyed the going different jobs.
Yeah.
I felt that way when I was a temp. That one of the cool things about it was that you got to try out a bunch of different things.
Right.
That's what I liked about the going to all the different towns and doing the computer pickups, was that I was walking in the back door of businesses and meeting the real people that make businesses run. I've always believed the guys upstairs wearing the ties don't really even know what's going on.
Right.
And more of my life has shown me that time and time again. The more wealthy the corporation I walked in the back door, the more they already hated the management. So I met both the people who work in the back where nobody sees them, because that was where I came in and out. The janitors, dock workers, people that actually work. And then I brought in the next rung below that in to work with me. So these people would be judging those people already. And we'd work our ass off all day and tell a couple jokes.
You know what's crazy to me? Is like, I would do little things like, I would like, say hey to the janitor. Like, and it's weird. It's weird, like, because I've heard people talking about, like, people that used to work as janitors and stuff like that, talking about how, like, people really ignore them. And I just always found that crazy. Like, how can you ignore this person that cleans up all your stuff? I don't get that.
Well, exactly.
I don't get that.
And yet we're not as thankful of our mothers as we should be.
Right.
Speaking of people who pick up all our stuff. You know that I was taught growing up that there was no difference between two people. That someone isn't superior. I have met people along the way that others might consider important. The ones that mattered the most to me, that wasn't the experience I had with them, though. I mean, I found in general, politicians at the state and local level are usually pretty impressed with themselves. Not to say that all of the politicians I've ever met were like that, but in general, there was some of that. But,
in my experience, most of the politicians I've met I didn't really like a whole bunch, with the exception of maybe my aunt, who she was, I think, city council.
got any more energy in that voice? I know I can't hear you.
I don't have energy. I'm sorry. Yeah, like most of the politicians I've met, I haven't really been like taken aback by anybody really.
Well, yeah, I never have. So, the point of 15 years in a job and assembling the pieces that, no, I gather a good Tittynope no matter the job. You learn things every day. Do it at the end of the, that it was that, and that was the thing. That the reason I immediately knew that was the topic for today was it resident. It was like, this is me all day long.
Right.
There's a chuckle, there's a giggle.
Right.
There's a deeper meaning.
Okay.
You breathe, and you go, oh yeah, a gathering of small leftovers. I can get with a gathering of small leftovers.
Right.
It's not greedy. It's not, and then I took all the food that was left over.
That's true.
It's not, somehow it seemed gracious. There was a gratitude to the idea of, let's Tittynope. I know, right? But do you see that? But the idea that a small gathering of leftovers just sounds to me like a meaningful thing I could be gracious, I could have gratitude for. Like, oh, there's a few leftovers. This is like, oh, look, the oil lasted 8 days. Look at you Hebrews. Well, but the idea of that, look at how much there is, as opposed to, oh, almost everything's gone.
Right.
At the end of your day, gather it. You know?
Right.
That so it was. You know, it was that I now want to normalize the word Tittynope. I want to hear people saying Tittynope everywhere I go.
I'll be honest, I don't.
If you invite me over to your house for a Tittynope, I am there. No matter the leftovers.
If someone like has, if I meet someone and they have a shirt that says Tittynope on it, I might just like accidentally smack them.
Oh, now why?
I'm
No.
joking.
I just realized that we could do a post-apocalypse TV show.
Post-apocalypse TV show.
Yeah, where there's just a few people left.
God, no.
And we could call the show Tittynope.
Nope. No.
More than that.
Tittynope? No.
The show, Tittynope.
No.
At the end of World War III, post-apocalypse.
Why not make it a zombie apocalypse?
Well, because why would you?
Don't make it World War III. It's too real.
Well,
It's too close to home.
why are we so like not willing to deal with real at all?
No.
But Head, you're saying, I'm telling you what happened the last time this went down. Everybody said, oh, I don't want to deal with that. And then it got bigger, and eventually it was ours to deal with. Said, I mean, if I'm looking at a calendar, I'm on course. You know, do we have a count to assassinate or something to start World War I? When that?
Count to assassinate.
I forget who they shot.
Oh.
Archduke.
Franz
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm not attached to it. I just have trouble not assessing situations.
You have trouble not assessing situations.
My brain figures stuff out whether I want it to or not.
I had to let that go.
No. You're missing what I'm talking about.
No, I get you.
That no matter what I do, the pieces out here fall into place.
I get what you're saying. I'm saying I had to turn that piece of my brain off.
I don't understand what you mean. That's my brain. Does that make sense? It's for me, I'm like going, and I don't mean that as a
Well,
judgment.
I mean,
yeah.
at 7, I was talking about I want to be the president, and I was making policy decisions.
What's wrong with that?
And I was trying to figure out how to save the world.
Okay.
And
We're here now. Where's the list?
well, the thing is that there was a big weight that came with that. So I eventually realized I don't really want that much power or control over anything because I don't want that type of responsibility. I don't want I mean, it would be cool to make changes and stuff like that, but I'm not sure that's like it seems like to me thinking big and dreaming and stuff like that is very different from like trying to figure out what's outside of my wheelhouse, I guess. I don't know if that made any sense, the words that I said.
I hear that you were
It
saying
probably
something,
didn't
but
make
I don't
sense.
understand what I was being bad.
But
I was doing something.
you know,
I apologize.
it's
That's really wrong of me.
That's all good.
Well,
it's a lot of responsibility.
I don't feel like it. That's not
I
what
do.
it. I'm not. Okay, here's the problem. I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm attached to the idea I have to try. You're still attached to the outcome.
I'm very attached to the
I
outcome.
can't make that happen.
I'm very attached. Like
I'm not attached to whether or not I can make that happen.
My biggest fear would be if I actually like got to the point where I was president and I attempted to get change done and I couldn't do anything. Like that's my biggest fear.
So if you Jimmy Carter did it.
For lack of a better term, yes.
Well, the part that slowed Jimmy Carter down and why he's looked on the way he is as a president wasn't that he wasn't trying to get stuff done. It was that he was kind. And it ends up, they're like inbred wolves chewing at each other.
Right.
Don't think the two sides hate each other in D.C.
Right.
It's like
No, they're buddy.
it's like a bunch of wolves trying to eat each other up. It's like it's disgusting. And so the problem is when you put somebody in like Jimmy Carter, if I know anyone that deserves sainthood, and I'm not a big one on the sainthood thing, if you watch any of this stuff on President Carter, you'd be like, oh my God, what an amazing human being. But it ends up if you're not willing to screw people over and stab people in the back, Washington doesn't work. That was in 1976.
Yeah. I don't have much interest for that.
No, my point is, it's just gotten worse.
Yeah.
76 was back when. Now we look back and go, oh look, they were getting along. Anyways, so yeah, that's why people think when I say those things it sounds crazy. They say, well, you can't change the world. I don't know that. See what saves me? Well, can you save the world? I don't know that. You can't save the world. I don't know that. I'm not attached to that. I'm attached to I have to share what I can. I can't just be silent. That would be...
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that. I just don't. I don't think that I would want to like influence more of it, but I don't know how to say that. Like, I don't want to push. I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. Actually.
You don't want to buy anything sold or...
Yeah. All of that. All that whole speech. Yes, the whole speech. That right there.
Boy, Dobler.
Yeah.
Yeah, he Doblered it. He Doblered it. Well, no, but... So... I'm open to the way the ideas come to me, and open to the idea of working on this the way it's possible for me to work on it, with the idea that I'm planting seeds. I don't know what seeds will grow or won't grow. I don't have any control over that. All I can do is try and share. I've got this thought.
I get that.
And that I've got this thought that I'm supposed to somehow try to share that thought. That's not a crazy thought. The crazy thought is, well, okay, here we are, we're off to save the world. That isn't the thought. I can't save the world. Can I share my thoughts? And we might be able to. For the record, there's no permanence. Eventually the world ends. We all know this. Because that's how the sun works and stars and...
Yeah, the sun will go through heat death.
But there's no value
We'll be probably long gone before that.
in us being separated and at each other's throats. There's no value. That only builds value for a select few. And why would I stand by and watch them do that? So you get to a weird point. Buddhism again, guys, sorry. Where maybe it's all one thing. So the part you get over is the idea that you wouldn't want to hurt anybody, because if you're hurting anybody, you're hurting yourself. Because in the long run, that's just true. The overall damage is sustained by everybody. Ask our vets. In the end, gather your Tittynope. Take the leftovers as best you can, and then share them.
Yeah, sure.
The joy of having is sharing. And if you've got a Tittynope, invite a couple friends to your small gathering. And then if we each invite a couple friends to a small Tittynope, which is kind of redundant because it's already a small gathering of leftovers.
That's a large gathering.
A small gathering? No, my suggestion is...
Small gathering is a little gathering.
No, it's not double negatives. That isn't how small works.
No, it's additive.
A small gathering would be smaller than the average gathering. Because it'd be a small gathering.
Well, if you add up the small gatherings, you get a large gathering.
No, well, if you were right, if it was many small gatherings, or a small gathering of small gatherings might be a large gathering, or maybe a medium-sized gathering. The point is, share your leftovers. Share what you find. Maybe that does have an effect. There's all kinds of stuff we're learning about quantum physics that suggests what we do with our energy matters. That's true. That's just science. It's just science. So, I don't know whether or not I can, but I know it's one of the possibilities. I know that more and more people thinking in a way that shares compassion causes an overall change. And so, as each night you gather your leftovers of wisdom you found, share that shit. I know I am. Maybe we'll change the world.
Maybe.
Monday.
Friday.
I know, but when will we be back?
On Monday.
When will we be live?
Monday.
We go this way. We go one Studio 586 be live. The trick is trying to figure out how you, even when you're feeling that, you gotta push up. It's an acting thing. You just gotta push up a little volume, so that you can still come across the same way. No problem with how you're just boost it. Like, give it a little shit. I'm on the air. Give it a little boost. That's all. It wasn't meant as a